Kalvin Garrah. Now if you don't recognize that name, feel free to keep scrolling, but I will explain. If you do recognize that name, first of all, I'm real sorry. But in all seriousness, you might be wondering why I'm talking about him now. He's stopped posting to YouTube and he says he's done with it, but people like him, namely Blair White, are still posting. More than the specific people though, I want to talk about their impact on the queer community as a whole. Because when the larger population sees trans folks making fun of other trans folks and saying they aren't trans, or mainly/only talking about trans predators, they feel it gives them permission to do the same. It also reinforces transphobic views like you have to pass perfectly in order to be trans, or non-binary people aren't really trans, and reinforces the idea that transgenders or people who are only transitioning because it's cool are taking over trans spaces. When we know none of those are true, we must push against these lies, talk to the people in our own lives that could get caught up in them, and just be mindful of who we support online.
Pussy in my ass, real stall. So pick me, choose me, love me.
Hey yo, Kalvin Garrah would hate me check.
You know it's they, them, as in me and most of mine. Some identical identity, I keep them close beside.
I hate my life and I wanna die. I ain't got no iPhone.
A couple of months ago, Kalvin Garrah commented on one of my TikToks, and at the time, I had no idea who he was, so I didn't respond. But now I do know who he is, and I want to provide some education to him and the other trans people who share his values. I want to talk about cisnormativity. Cisnormativity is the idea that everybody is cisgender, or that everybody should at least try and appear cisgender. Kalvin Garrah and other trans people like him work really hard to pass and to fit in with mainstream society. And that's okay, they're allowed to do that. But unfortunately, some of those people are the same ones who shame other members of their own community for experiencing their transness differently. And that's not okay.
I like you, have a cupcake. I like you, have a cupcake. I like you, have a cupcake.
I don't know, I think I'm just like a very broke.
Lana Del Rey is pretty cool. Remember when you bullied non-binary kids until they attempted suicide? Remember when you accused a disabled person of faking their disability? Do you remember that, Kalvin?
Hey yo, Kalvin Garrah would hate me check.
You know it's they, them, as in me and most of mine. Some identical identity, I keep them close beside.
No, because you can't just say you're trans. Like, that's not, you can't just say you're trans and be trans.
Is that not what coming out is? I am trans. Is that not what he did to come out?
That's right, the guy who made fun of kids on the internet for doing things that are remotely feminine, like dyeing their hair pink and painting their nails, because apparently that makes them not trans, is a Lana Del Rey stan. Go look at the account, it's quite funny.
Literally right after LMAO.
What I looked like while I was looking at my phone yesterday when I saw something for the first time. Something really fucking stupid. What? No.
It's a woman's world, so to speak. Pussy, you sour. Never giving credit where it's due, cause you don't like pussy in power. Venom.
She's just not
Bitches acting like they wanna know me. Friendly and the phony try to check me, it's a warning. Let's go!
Alright, let's read more comments from Kalvin. Shitty neo-pronouns video. Ooh, this is not looking good for him. But, oh my gosh, there's almost more comments than views. This is my favorite one because it just perfectly encapsulates everything I want to say to this kid. Kalvin, go outside and touch the grass. Kalvin looks like he would hate crime me. He deleted my comment saying he's a trender if he deletes my comment. That's all the confirmation I need, king.
Pigeons, homing talents, continued to shape history during the 20th. POV, you want cis people to pick you. Calvin's new pronouns are cis bootlicker. OMG! Calvin is the reason my parents don't love each other. Maybe if he got some WAP, worship and prayer, he would shut up. The Arthur lyric. Guys, he isn't chilling in Cedar Rapids. Smash Mouth. Calvin goes by internalized transphobia. Calvin, do you want to look at the stars and think how utterly small we are in the grand scheme of things together?
I used to be a doctor too.
You have lost yourself to madness.
I changed career paths.
Oh, Kalvin Garrah, where do we begin? First of all, he preaches against trenders, which basically are people he dubs as fake transgender people who will identify as a certain gender, like a male or female, but then present or dress as the opposite in his eyes. He also will say that being trans is terrible and that you should constantly feel like shit about yourself. And the main part, Calvin's followers are not from him sharing his experience as a transgender man. The bulk of his followers have come from him reacting to videos of cringy transgender TikToks, Musical.lys, YouTubers, people, etc., where he would mock and insult people for how they express themselves and what they say, especially minors, lots of minors. And in return, people would go and bully these minors, which did result in a known suicide attempt due to it.